Now, yes, look, truthfully, one of our biggest problems right now really isn't losing money in crypto. And I get it. You're like, well, of course, losing money is the complete opposite of making money. So it has to be the worst thing, right? Well, yeah, it's obviously not very good to lose money in crypto. But as of right now, as it stands, you and me in the market watching this video and being here right now, we actually suffer from, I think, worse problems that will ultimately stem to us losing money. And today I want to talk about these things because they are so important to get right now that I know, looking back from the last cycle, I wish I knew at the same time we're in now. Okay, it's all psychological things. It's all things that, honestly, personally speaking, are impacting me psychologically. I'm a human too. I'm in crypto 24/7. This is my full-time job, thanks to people like you watching this video. But ultimately, I'm still suffering from it, so I'm sure some of you are as well. Let's get into these things. It's going to be a candid video today, more of a conversation rather than a factual video you typically see. But that shouldn't stop you from hitting that like button because it does support all I do around here. And subscribe as well, guys, so you're up to date with all the crypto information and ensuring you succeed in this bull run. So if we can get these things right, we can save ourselves from ultimately losing money. And I think if you focus entirely on not losing money in crypto, you will ultimately find yourself losing money because you end up falling for the things that get you in that position. So these are some of the things that I think will get you in that position and how to kind of avoid them. Now, I will start with my own personal experience right now in the market. Now, I'm sure some of you guys agree that, unfortunately, right now, looking at charts like this, it is not very appealing. Couldn't really put my finger on why. I don't know, maybe it's the fact that fear and greed index is now back into fear. Or is it the fact that Bitcoin is back down at $56,000? Or maybe, just maybe, I'm overthinking it. Well, obviously, the market's not looking too hot right now. So, here's the thing, guys. What I've found from sitting in this market the last 6-7 months, chopping sideways, is one very important thing. Time in the market is better than timing the market. So what you have to understand here is it's very hard to sit on your hands and do nothing. It's actually easy, but we make it hard because we always feel like we have to be doing more. We feel like people are getting discounts. Why can't we? It's that FOMO feeling, but in reverse. You understand? A lot of us are sort of deprogramming our own minds to think, okay, red is bad, green is good, and we're now thinking buy on the red. We want the dip. We've got no more money to buy the dip with, right? I totally understand. I'm in the same position because we all thought we'd be moving up by now. This is kind of unprecedented, this whole sort of sideways movement. And the fact that we keep chopping down, again, is attesting to that. But just remember, when in doubt, zoom out. I'm using all the buzzwords today. Have a look at where we are still to go. You want to factor in macro events, but ultimately speaking, we are very likely to still be moving up and up and up. And with that, you should be thinking how fortunate you are, because if you want some comparison, go back to 2020 and have a look right before that massive pump. Altcoins, some of these damn things, if you chose the ones correctly, 10x. And so I think you need to really consider what I'm about to say here. Imagine an alternative universe where you felt you had to be doing something right now. You had no cash, so what you did was chase your tail. What you did was instead, at these times when market's going down, you sell at a loss and you try to keep buying back in lower and lower and lower. Now, we done the math on this on a recent video because this was a great question one of the guys in the private community had. We made it public on YouTube. We actually worked out the math behind trying to chase your tail, and it works out better if you just hold your tokens, if you can stake to get some extra tokens in the meantime, and wait for some of your sell levels. Now, given that, now is a great time to reconsider some sell levels. Maybe you were too ambitious, maybe bring them down. That's going to take me to my next point, okay? But before I get there, I want to say, all I'm trying to say here, guys, is while it's hard to sit on your hands, it's actually very easy. Take a step back, go out, enjoy life a little bit, all right? I know you're getting, enjoy life from a crypto influencer. How many times have we heard this, right? It's very hard to do that when we're in crypto. One day feels like a year. Just try to do it. Try to do it. Maybe journal a little bit. I'm doing that myself openly and honestly right now, and it's helping tremendously. Doing it for 1 week. My mindset's completely changed, and I've sort of thought to myself, how? Why? Why am I more happy? Why am I more involved with things? Why do I love now waking up at 4 a.m. and getting stuck into crypto research or going to the gym? I think it's because of journaling. So there's a quick tip for you all. Now let's get into the next point. Now this is a really big one because this will be a massive detriment to your success. Probably one of the biggest, I think, personally speaking. And that's chopping and changing your goals. Okay, so you've likely seen before on the channel where I talk about this particular example here, where you might have a goal in mind. I always tell the guys in my private community, have a set goal in mind. If you want to buy 3 properties, okay, you need to figure out, here's my little house for you all, okay, with the door and everything. you need to figure out how much money you need to acquire these 3 properties and whether you want to mortgage them or not. Okay, so you need to work that out. Now, you need to actually figure out and materialize what your goals really are in this industry, or your goals to make out of this industry, rather, and then backtrack to find what coins to buy and how many multiples you need. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. Now, here's where most people go wrong. First of all, most people don't even do this. Let me just say right now, most people don't do that. I didn't in the last bull run, and look where that landed me, losing 6 figures and end up holding most of my tokens, right? So if you do this, and that's an if, okay, a big problem I guarantee you most of you will end up facing as the bull run progresses and as you see money enter your account on paper, mind you, that you've never seen before, what's going to happen is, if I delete my beautiful drawing over here, you're going to end up getting close to your goal. Oh, now maybe it's 200K. Now I can go on that vacation and do what I need to do, right? And then you go to yourself, well, hang on, that happened pretty quickly and easily, apparently. So why don't we just increase it just a sneaky little bit to 250K? And then it goes up and up and up and up and chops and you start panicking. Then it goes up and up. Oh my gosh, it's a 250K. It's $250,000. Well, with an extra $50,000, I can do some renovations to the house. Yeah, actually, now I'm going to reassess my goals. Now a renovation to the house is needed. You start convincing yourself you need these things, right? I need a new Corvette, or I need to go out and, I don't know, whatever else you buy. I had some intrusive thoughts into my mind. But you need to basically go out and do stuff, and you convince yourself you need those things. I had to reassess my goals several times to tell myself, I don't actually need a new car. I want a car, but I don't need a new car, right? And so it comes up, and what ended up happening, right? You end up holding, you set these new sell levels, and then the market goes down. And you end up selling probably even lower than what you did before, or you intended to before, because you likely have hope. It's how the market works. And you end up being like me in the last cycle, where you still held your tokens until now, or you sold at a completely lower level than what you could have originally. Make sure you're very clear with these goals. Don't increase them on superficial things you don't need. And remember, guys, we have another cycle very likely. And if not, you got the stock market, many other ways you can make money. And if we make money this cycle, we can easily look for at least a 10, 20, 30x in the next cycle. If you're not timing the bottom to some degree average, you should be looking for at least a 20x next bull run. That's when we can make the money we've made this cycle and turn that into huge profits. So I want you all to put that in place and tell your friends and family about it. And I want you to take a mental note. If this happens to you at the next cycle, I want you to remember this conversation we're having now, one-sided conversation, unfortunately, and think to yourself, oh, wow, he was right, because you definitely will. I hope you put it in practice, though. So number 3 here is also changing your sell levels. So I'm going to show you here a sell level I personally have on one of my altcoins, and it's superficial, by the way. I'm not going to tell you guys my actual sell levels, because in that case, join the private community, right? Now, as the bull run goes up, you're likely, as I said, want to be more bullish, okay? So you're looking at your sell levels. This is Ondo for an example here, right? This is my mock portfolio. And you might, this is, by the way, part of my bull run cheat sheet and exit portfolio, which again available in the private community. But you might look at this and go, yeah, Kyron, look, Ondo's at $5 right now. That happened pretty easily and quickly. We've got apparently another 12 more months of the cycle left, or 6 more months. This thing can easily skyrocket above $10. Your prediction was roughly speaking right, or at least we feel like it might be right. So I'm going to hedge to the upside. And maybe that's a good idea. Maybe in theory it's a good idea, but ultimately if you go ahead and move your sell levels up, which you will be inclined to, again, you're susceptible to the same example we just showed, because this happens throughout your whole portfolio. This is all your altcoins. But ultimately, to do this, to have this train of thought, you have to actually manipulate your individual altcoin sell levels, all right? So you might go, well, okay, well, rather than averaging out of, let's say, Ondo at $7, you might want to now average out at $8 or $9 or $10, like I said. Of course, the higher you go, the more risk that is involved. But here's the problem. You do this because your little lizard mind, your fight or flight, says, okay, green is good. Green go up. I'm going to increase my sell levels. So you must make sure, I think, at a time like this in the market where, prices are quite low and your actual mind is more pessimistic than optimistic, you can sort of assess these levels and I guess lower them to a price in which you're comfortable that will achieve your goals. That's all I'm sort of saying here, guys. I hope you understand the reason why I sort of double up and mention this and break it apart into 2 different things, because you have to actually understand how you come to these sort of conclusions. And I see it all the time, like, in the private community or on YouTube, whatever. I see other people also falling victim to this. I'm not going to put my hand up and say I don't. I definitely do myself. But you just have to be as realistic as you possibly can and stick to your guns when you're thinking more pessimistic than optimistic. Now, this last point is like sort of very similar to being on par with what I just spoke about, okay? Changing your goals, increasing your price prediction levels, being optimistic rather than pessimistic, being unrealistic, matter of fact, right? This one is keeping up with the news. Now, what we're doing right now on the No BS channel is bringing you 2 to 3 news update videos every single week, starting from now, including a live stream we're going to be doing here soon as well. Because you need to stay on top of the news when it comes to crypto, especially in the market right now where I can sense, right? I'm like a shark in the water. I can smell blood, and blood being prices going up, okay? So it's about to happen, and I can't tell you enough. When this thing flips, you need to stay on top of the altcoins that you hold. You've put the money into these coins. Most of you, unfortunately, likely don't know too much about these coins in terms of the technical prowess or where they fit in the market, why they're important, why they might not be important, and so on. All right, but we're going to cover a broad range of altcoins that I've deemed pretty successful. I think will be successful of this bull run, at least on paper, as of right now. And we're going to be bringing you updates on these every single week. But as for you and your personal everyday sort of research, you can forget learning about the individual altcoins themselves. I would suggest you do. You can watch all the YouTube videos in the world that tell you, hey, price is going to 100x from here. And all the sort of, I guess, shillers trying to convince you, planting a confirmation bias that this is the best coin since sliced bread, or since Bitcoin, basically, would be the better analogy in this case. But the news itself that comes out can literally change things. A prediction could be $10. Bit of bad news comes out, that might drop down to $2. So you don't know that unless you're spending 10 minutes per project per day researching each of these altcoins. Now, I've got a little hack for you all. First of all, you want to ideally follow the project on Twitter. Create a new Twitter account. So important, okay? Create a new, fresh Twitter account. Follow that project. Follow the foundation if you can as well, if there is a foundation, if you will, like the governing body that sort of looks after the project without actually being the project itself, if that makes sense. You want to also follow an evangelist. What I mean by that is someone who just non-stops love talking about the project, okay? If I was a H-bar only channel, only spoke about Hedera, well, in that case, I'd be a H-bar evangelist. You want to also, get a third party, if you will, someone like myself, an influencer that covers a broad range of altcoins. And once you have this 3 to 4 followers per project, you just go to Twitter, have a look at them every single day and see what they're posting about and make that judgment. You want to find objective news. A lot of these evangelists and projects themselves won't really announce negative news, at least straight away, because they want to come up with a sort of story that supports their case, if you will, if not ignore it entirely. That's why people like myself and other influencers are a great option as well to follow. So, guys, news must be done, must be 10 minutes per day per project. And when I say that, it's generally speaking how long it takes to research a coin if you're sort of newer to the industry. Just look for bad news or really good news. And of course, we break down what that is in my Fundamentals research plan. It's free on YouTube, right? I've got an hour-and-a-half video over here explaining how it all sort of works, or I've got a course on that as well. Up to you guys, right? So with that being said, guys, just please, all right, that's a very important time to be gluing in, paying attention, even if you absolutely hate crypto, but you put money into it because you just can't miss out on this lucrative, once-in-a-lifetime almost opportunity. All right, first of all, congratulations, because that takes some balls, but you need to be glued in, right? You need to be tuned in right now. It doesn't feel like much is happening, but once those markets start going up, you're going to be on top of the world and you're going to forget about all this sort of stuff. But lay the groundwork now, you'll be fine. So guys, thank you for watching this whole way through. Look, if you made it to this point in time, if you're hearing me right now, hit that like button, because that tells me, hey mate, I made it through the whole damn video. I put up with the monotoned voice for 15 minutes. Click the like. Thank you very much. Talk to you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.